Hello, everyone. I'm so glad you're here for Minding Your Business Bites. So now here's what I want you to do. I want you to go and grab your lunch so that you can sit and relax and listen in and hear all the great tips about unlocking your competitive advantage. But before you run off and grab your lunch, I want you to share this video out to your friends. Share this video out so that people can come on. We are going to be talking live today. I want to have you here in the room with me so we can have great discussion around building your strategy and really unlocking your competitive advantages within your business. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Holly Whaley. I am a certified business, life, and couples coach. So I do all things coaching. I'm also a speaker and an author. I own my own coaching firm, and I am so excited to share with you all of the amazing things that you can unlock when you're working with a coach. But I also have been doing these series for you, the small business owner that says, I just need some information. I need to understand what are my next steps? Where do I go? Maybe you're an aspiring entrepreneur and you're not quite sure where to start, how to start, when to start. We talk about all of those things. And so today I'm going to be sharing about unlocking your competitive advantage. And I want this to be interactive. So I would love for you to join with me, invite a friend. Let's have some great conversation because we are going to enter into 2025 and I want it to be your most successful year. But I often use the quote that says, if you plan to fail, you fail to plan. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Let me say it the right way. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And so I want to see you successful. So let's jump in. I'm going to share this out really quickly from my business page to everybody. I want you to tag your friends. You don't want to miss this opportunity. I know there are a lot of small business owners out there, a lot of people that are wanting to grow their business and understand their business and all of those components. And so now is the time. So let's get started. I'm so excited to just share with you guys today. And I'm also excited that next week we are going to have somebody sharing with us about SEO. We also have this month somebody sharing with us about photography, understanding the importance of your headshots, videos, all of the things. So you don't want to miss these series. We're here every Wednesday at noon, and it's from 12 to 12:30. So I won't take a lot of your time. I just want you to be able to really join us, learn more about business and how we can support one another in our businesses. So, all right. If you leave comments, I will be able to see your comments. But again, you are here listening to the Mind Your Business Bites. So happy that you are here. So let's get started. We are going to be talking about being able to unlock your competitive advantage. Now, one thing that we all understand is that in order to get the sales and be productive and do all of the things as an entrepreneur, there are some things that we need to implement. And there are some things that we need to consider. And I find this a lot with clients that they will jump into their business, but they don't take time out to step back and evaluate their business. They're not looking at the longer term picture. And I will share this with you. And I haven't looked up the statistics recently, so these may have changed. But just so you know that 80% of small businesses will fail or close their doors within the first 5 years of business. Now, I don't know about you, but that's not very comforting. I want to know that as I'm establishing this business, that it's going to go and even potentially be a legacy for my children. I want other people to be working with me through my firm so that I can help provide for other people's families, right? We can provide income and we build the economics around that. So I want to be successful long term. And I hope and I'm sure that all of you are the same. You want this to be a long term business. And in order to do that, we have to take time to step back and truly evaluate our business. And that's hard sometimes because we get into the doer syndrome and the task syndrome that we forget to step back. And so I really, really, really want you to take a moment today as we're going through this to take a step back and really evaluate and think about some of these things. Now, this is truly one component of strategy. This is not everything, but I wanted to focus on this because we really, really want you to unlock your competitive advantage in the marketplace. So the first thing that you need to do is you need to identify your unique value proposition. So here's one of the biggest questions that I ask of my clients when we start working together. What makes your business unique? I have to ask myself that. Do you know how many business coaches and life coaches and even marriage coaches, couples coaches are out there? Like when I look at my firm, what makes us unique and different from all of the other life coaches and business coaches out there? So I want you to write that question down. What makes my business unique? We all know that we have a crowded marketplace today, and standing out isn't just about being good, but it's about being different in a way that matters to your customers. And this is where your unique value proposition, or UVP, you may hear people call it UVP, comes in. And so I want you, I use a lot of different examples, right? But one company that I continuously go back to is Apple, right? I always go back to Apple, and it's not because I am an Apple user. It's just because their business model and the way they've worked their business is very intriguing, and we can learn a lot from it. So if you're joining me, I see you guys are online. Just shout out where you're from and that you're here and what type of business you're in, because I would love for this to be interactive today as we go through this. And I do see that we've got some people on here live with us. So one of the best business examples is Apple. Now, people don't just buy an iPhone because it's a smartphone. They buy it because it's an Apple experience. I want you to think about that. Apple's UVP is all about sleek design, user-friendly features, and a brand image that conveys innovation and prestige. During my for my aspiring entrepreneurs, when I do my business essentials course, we often talk about Apple and how they really changed with the iPod, how they really changed the industry for MP3 players. And it's all about how they took it to the marketplace, right? So Apple is very innovative. And if you go and look at what their whole vision and mission is, it's about being making things simple for people. And so it's an entire experience that you get when you actually go and purchase an iPhone. You could purchase any smartphone. It's not about Apple being the best or that they've just created this experience, and so people want the experience of Apple. Now here's another one that is a newer one in the marketplace that I want you to consider, because this was amazing. Warby Parker, they saw an opportunity to really disrupt the eyewear industry by offering stylish, affordable glasses and a commitment to social responsibility. So they've taken what is so important to their customers and they've identified what they want. They wanted fashionable glasses without breaking the bank, and that became their differentiator. They really stepped into a marketplace that was completely saturated and really stood out and made the difference. So I know if you're on here, you may be thinking, how can I compete with the big brands? But remember this, it's not about doing everything. It's about finding the one thing you do better than anyone else, and then ask yourself, what's the unique value I'm bringing to my customers that competitors can't easily replicate? That's really where your competitive advantage begins. Warby Parker also took it a step further and said, we're going to let you try on the glasses and you pick a few styles. We'll ship them to you. You see which ones you like, and then we'll go from there. That is amazing. In the middle of a pandemic, when people can't get out to shop, they're still allowing you to touch the items and really understand what will work best for you, because glasses are very personal. So they added the personal touch to it. What is your unique advantage? I really want you to think about that. So once you know what your unique value proposition is, the next thing is to dive into a few tools that can really help you understand the market landscape. So it's not enough just to have the UVP. Now you need to understand what is the market landscape, and that is how you're going to shape your whole strategy. I like to call these building blocks of business smart business planning, right? So here's what I use with my clients. I always, if you do a strategy session with me, you will receive a document that you are required to fill out that is a SWOT analysis. So for those of you that don't know what that stands for, that means strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. It's a simple but powerful way to really look at your internal and external environment. This is critical to really having a competitive advantage. So I really, really, really want you to think about completing a SWOT analysis for your business. Again, it's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And so when you begin to break down your strengths and weaknesses, you're getting clear on what you can leverage and what you need to improve. So it's really taking an introspective work of here's where we do really well, and here are some of the areas we really, really need to look at and we need to improve on. Opportunities and threats, on the other hand, are about the market. So a lot of people want to look at it and say, well, these are my opportunities and they're much like their weaknesses, just kind of fixing them. But really the opportunities are, what is the market lending to? The threats are the same thing. These are your external factors. What is the market lending to in both of these areas? And you need to think about that. This is where you can capitalize on trends that are out there. You could also look at challenges that could disrupt your success. So, what are some of the challenges in doing and implementing the things that you want to do? Then there's also Porter's 5 forces. And this really is a framework that helps you understand the competitive intensity in your industry. So the 5 forces are rivalry among competitors, the bargaining power of suppliers, and the bargaining power of customers, and then the threat of new entrants. So you have to think about Who are the people that will be coming in and what does that look like? And the threat of substituting products or services. I think about this a lot when I think about like a lot of the name brands. When you look at like Coach and Michael Kors and Gucci, and people are trying to replicate those. And so what does that look like? I also think about it in the pharmaceutical sector, because you have drugs that have been patented for a certain period of time, and then once that patent is lifted, now the pharmaceutical companies that do the generics now can start selling under a generic, right? They can work through that. So that's what those 5 forces really mean. Looking at those 5 forces, now you're understanding what the marketplace is really lending to and what your competitors are doing. Now, here I want you to think about, let's just kind of put this into perspective for everybody, right? Let's just put this in so that you can see it. To bring it completely to life, let's talk about a company that turned its strategy around by focusing on competitive advantage. That company is Netflix. In the early 2000s, Netflix started a DVD rental service competing with the giants like Blockbuster. But what did they do? They used their strategic insight to see the shift towards digital streaming long before most companies did. And they understood that consumers wanted convenience, variety, and most importantly, access. Then, when Netflix made the shift to streaming, they didn't just compete in that way, but now they dominated in the entertainment industry. They were already set up. And then they went a step further and said, we're going to create our own content. We're going to create our own original content. And so they recognized a gap when they used tools like the SWOT analysis or trend analysis and doubled down on their differentiator. And so today, Netflix is one of the most recognized brands in all the world because they strategically unlocked their competitive advantage. This is why it's critical for you to really understand that. Now, the other thing is, they're clearly not the only company, right, that has done this. But I want you to understand that they are one that has done it well. I mean, we could look at different things in different industries, but it's about identifying where you sit, your industry, and what is your competitive advantage, and using the tools necessary to really strategize and look at your business and identify where some of the gaps may be that you now fill. So I always tell my clients, being competitive in a marketplace and having competitors is a beautiful thing. It's not a bad thing at all, because what it's going to do is it's going to push you to come up with what your unique value proposition is and help you identify the need that you're going to meet for somebody else. So I always think it's great. So let's talk about takeaways and actionable tips so that you can implement this even today in your business. So here's what the key takeaways are from today. I want you to remember that competitive advantage starts with knowing why customers choose you over others. It's not about what you do. Hear me when I say that. It's not about what you do, it's about what you do differently. Sometimes that's so hard to identify. What do I do differently? I would survey my clients and say, what made you select Holly Whaley? What made you select K&H Coaching? Why did you come to us versus somebody else? And why do you continue to stay when you have new goals that you want to meet? Those are very important questions to ask your customers. right? Because you want to know what you're doing differently than your competitors. Second, make time to dig into the strategic tools like a SWOT analysis. Please, 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 if you do nothing else, sit down and take time to do a SWOT analysis. It's critical that you do a SWOT analysis for your business. And then I would also like to say, use the Porter's Five Forces and really dig deeper into your industry and understanding what the needs are and where the gaps are. So here's my challenge for this week. Are you ready? Write it down. Get your pen and paper. Here's your challenge. Identify one area in your business where you could develop or amplify your competitive advantage. Maybe it's a product feature, maybe it's your customer service, or even your marketing message, right? But take time to define it clearly and think about how you can make it more valuable to your customers. So I really want you to consider that, right? What is one area of your business where you could develop or amplify your competitive advantage? That is not going to be an easy task, but I know you're up for the challenge, right? So find out what is your competitive advantage. So I hope you found this helpful. I don't want to take too much of your time, and I don't see at this moment any comments that we haven't addressed. So if you have comments, you're watching the replay, put hashtag replay. I want to be able to have a conversation with you on in really working through this. All right. So I want you to really, really, really take advantage of all of the tools that we're talking about. Really look at the SWOT analysis, really start thinking about the Porter's Five Forces in your industry and come up with what your competitive advantage is. I hope you found these insights useful and inspiring. I really, really hope that you found that. And when we have an opportunity, we're going to talk about strategic partnerships because that is going to be critical to your strategy as well. So if you're interested in doing a strategy session and you say, I really need help sitting down one-on-one, going through my strategy, I would love to do that with you. My strategy sessions are 2 hours long. We sit down one-on-one. We go through your SWOT analysis, your financial reviews. We identify all of the different components of your business, where you are today, where you want to be, not just in the next year, but in the next 5 years. And then we build out a proper plan that's going to help you get to those goals. I've most recently been working with nonprofits and their boards to really help them strategize for 5 years down the road, because you really, really need to have that program in place so that year 2, you know where you're headed. Year 3, now that doesn't mean you won't shift a bit and adjust. That is perfectly fine, but you have a plan. That means that you are looking at your business, you understand your business. We're building KPIs together, which are key performance indicators, to help you stay on track with really building your business to the point that you want it to get to. Because ultimately, my goal is to see you successful. So thank you for tuning in to Mind Your Business, Business Bites. Don't miss it over the course of this month, where we have amazing speakers coming on to talk to you about SEO, making sure you have your marketing strategy in place, and then also looking at how videography and photography will promote your business. So stay tuned. I'll see you next week at 12 p.m. Eastern here for Mind Your Business, Business Bites. Have a great day.